Welcome, my name is Nick. This is Trans Guy Reacts, and I do commentary reaction videos for women's basketball, college and professional. Today, I want to talk about the Great White Hopes, or the former Great White Hopes, really. So, right now, I think people are really juiced about Caitlin Clark, but I want to talk about Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu. Before I get into that, I do want to say you can always like, subscribe, and share my videos if you're interested. I do not allow comments because I'm a trans person and I'm just going to receive a lot of hate, and I'm just not here for that. I'm also not really here to be be the ultimate educator in terms of the history of the sport. If you just started watching women's basketball and you only care about one team or one player, this is not the channel for you. Please dislike so I don't come up in your feed anymore. But if you do genuinely care about women's basketball, you want to know the history, the nuances, and all that stuff, then yes, please watch this video. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And I would love to grow the channel and to be around people who genuinely care and not trolls. I'm not into sexist trolls or racist trolls. Like, that's not the vibe here. But I am going to give you the real and the context in my biased opinion on what's going on in the league and in college. So let's start. Like I said, I wanted to talk about Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu, which I feel are very similar to Caitlin Clark in terms of how the media has treated both of them. We could even go all the way back to Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Rebecca Lobo, but I think most people are our new fans are more familiar with Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu, and I think it's really important to kind of shed a light on the coverage that they used to receive. So first off, let's go with Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum, she is pretty popular. When she used to be on the all-time scoring list. She still is, but I mean, she was number one until Caitlin Clark beat her out, and she's now, I think, number 4. So or is she number 2? She's number 2, and then Deasia Fair is number 3, I think. Yes. But Kelsey Plum is pretty big following on Instagram. She has 900K followers. So pretty sizable fan base. And when she was, and she's from California, by the way. So Cowgirl, San Diego County. She ended up going to Oregon. To Washington. Woo. Sabrina went to Oregon. Excuse me. She went to Washington under Mike Neighbors, who actually is now the Arkansas head coach. Funny enough, and kind of skipping ahead, but Kelsey Plum was on his coaching staff as like a graduate assistant coach in 2020 when she was injured, and so she was out that season for the W, which funny enough was COVID season, so it didn't really matter for her. But that was kind of great for her to go back and be with that coach and help with that team. But when she was at Washington, she was the captain of the team as a freshman. She set so many records. It was kind of crazy. In her senior year, she became the all-time leading scorer in the Pac-12 for Pac-12 history. She passed Shanae Ogwumike at Stanford, and then a month later, became the first Pac-12 player and the 12th NCAA Division I player to reach 3,000 points. So, setting all types of records. Her career is freaking crazy. She was selected to the WNBA draft in 2017 as the number 1 pick, of course, by the San Antonio Stars. Now, the San Antonio Stars have a kind of an interesting history in terms of who they are. So they started out as the Utah Stars. They then moved to San Antonio, became the San Antonio Silver Stars, and then changed their name back to San Antonio to Stars. And then and Becky Hammon was a fantastic player on that team. The star player, did amazing things there. And then San Antonio Stars became the Las Vegas Aces, which now are an amazing team. They won 2 championships. They've got all the star players, and Plum is one of them. But I want to say that when Plum got so much media attention, very similar to Caitlin. So much media. It was just Kelsey, and rightfully so. She was setting all these records, breaking all these scoring things, the 3-pointer. It was just she was on fire. She was an amazing player. especially for her size, because she's 5'8", and she's a guard. Okay, so when she came into the W, she had a really hard time. Those first 3 years, honestly, were just not good. Her first 3 years of playing, and she talks about it often. She was like, I was getting cooked when I came into the W. It was much different. Than college, right? There's a lot more of an adjustment period. Especially, she was a 5'8" guard. She was a short person for basketball, and she didn't really get back to her high caliber basketball until her fourth year. So I think that's really important. Also, she did get injured in 2020, so 3 years in, she didn't play that year. So uh, that is part of it. But she did, do some other things. She was on the USA 5x5 team and she won twice at the World Cup. She was also on the 3x3 Olympics team and got a gold there too. And she's also played overseas. So all of these things, the USA basketball, the playing overseas, the giving the time, even when she was hurt, taking a couple years to adjust to professional basketball, because the WNBA is only 144 spots. It is the most elite, the hardest league to get in. And it's actually not even 144 spots, because some teams don't even have the full roster. It might even be less than that. So it's really hard to make a team, and there's not a lot of money in it to develop players to keep them on the staff. So you have to be the best of the best of the best with honors, okay? To be in the W. So she struggled a bit, but there was development there, and over time she really was able to thrive. So up until college, she had all of these awards, right? So she was the McDonald's All-American in 2013, AP Player of the Year 2017, Don Staley Award 2017. So this is all 2017, by the way. USABA WA Player of the Year, Naismith College Player of the Year, Nancy Lieberman Award, Wade Trophy, John R. Wooden Award, Honda Sports Award. Crazy. All of this when she graduated that senior year, she was just amazing. Very similar to Caitlin Clark. Very, very similar. And she had a lot of media coverage. A lot of it. When she came into the league, it was kind of crickets when she came in. She didn't really do much of anything, I have to say. Yeah, she didn't really do much of anything. She, when she went overseas, she did win the Turkish Super League in 2018 and 2019, the Turkish Cup in 2019, and then it was, again, crickets. She didn't really do much in the W. She did make the all-rookie team, so I'll take that back. She made the all-rookie team in 2017. Sure. But in terms of actually any accomplishments, that didn't really start happening until 2022, yo. That was 2 years ago. Then she started actually doing something in the league. So Commissioner Cup champion, all WNBA first team, sixth player of the year, all-star MVP, and two-time WNBA star and two-time WNBA champion. So, and these are back-to-back, by the way, because the Aces are that freaking good. So, yeah, it took her time. And she's even said publicly that she is very upset with the WNBA's coverage of her, because she knows that she got a lot of coverage. She was always the face of the league, even though she was not playing well. And they were using her face, because she's white and she's straight, to promote the league to be more palatable to the public. So, and she's very upset by that. I think she's even still to this day has the WNBA blocked online on her socials, okay, because she does not want to be associated or a part of that, when there are so many other WNBA players who are better than her, frankly, and she knows that. And even on her team, she is a role player. She's a team player. She understands that there are other better quality stars that are not getting their due, and she knows that it's because they're black. Like that's the thing. And I really respect her for that. By the way, she is married to a black man, so that kind of lets you know. She is married to New York Giants tight end Darren Waller. It's kind of funny because they met like during his podcast. He invited her on his podcast, and she was like giddy, and it's so funny. I also think it's kind of funny. She is straight, but I'm like, Darren Waller looks, well, I don't know who, Darren Waller might be older. So Kirsten Bell, who's her teammate, they look exactly alike. Look up Kirsten Bell and then look up Darren Waller, and you'd be like, are they sister and brother? Spitting image. Anyway, so that is like Kelsey Plum in a nutshell. And and great player. She's come a long way, but she had to take her licks. When she came into the W, she got the welcome to the league. She had a lot of welcome to the league moments. She talked about that on the Bird and Taurasi show that was going on during the Final Four and championship games. She was telling Diana about the time that Diana like talked her up and was super nice to her, and then when they started playing, like took like an elbow to the gut, which is like, yeah, like just because someone is nice to you, they respect you, but once you get on that floor and we're playing basketball, no, it's competition, it's hard, we're gonna go at each other. There's no love on the court, but when we're off the court, that's different. That's where I think new fans don't understand the nuances, and they want women's basketball players to be like nice and like have respectability politics or bullshit. No, this is competitive professional sports, and this is what we do on the court. And Diana is known for being a little bit of a troll. She loves antagonizing people. She loves saying weird shit to them on the court. She loves saying weird shit off the court, and you have to respect her because she is the GOAT. She's amazing, and she has proven to live up to what she does. So can't knock her for that. And people who are saying that Diana Taurasi is bitter or jealous, she ain't got nothing to be bitter or jealous about. That woman is a multimillionaire. And like people are like, oh, she's jealous of all the NIL deals that these players are getting. No, she's not. She is a multi-millionaire already. The WNBA players, because they don't make that much money in the WNBA, have to play overseas. But overseas, the game is respected more, and they garner way more money. So say they are making like 150K a year in the WNBA, and they go overseas, they're probably making, I shit you not, 700,000, $1 million, $2 million for playing overseas for that year. So they already had brand deals themselves. Just because you're not checking for it, because you're not paying attention to it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So they're not jealous. They're just like, I've been doing this for literally 15, 20 years, and I can back up what I'm saying. I can back up what I've done, and I'll see what you can do, because the truth is most rookies who come into the league are not good. There is a transition period. It is hard to adjust to professional league when you're playing against grown-ass women who play defense, who have been playing professional basketball for years, who know the plays, who know the refs, know how the refs are going to call things, right? It's a transition. Anyway, so that aside, that is Kelsey Plum. Now I want to talk about Sabrina Ionescu, who is like the more recent Great White Hope that I would call. And I gotta respect Sabrina. She is from Walnut Creek, so she's from the Bay. Gotta rep the Bay. But she also has a pretty big following. She has 1.1 million followers on Instagram. A lot of attention on her because straight white girl, all right, ballin', right? She ballin'. So the media is like, oh my god, we gotta follow her because we only care about clicks. And the nuance of that is like a lot of people in Middle America are attracted to people who look like Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu. So Sabrina's a little bit different in terms of like her responding to the way that she's portrayed in media. She doesn't really respond. She's more like Caitlin Clark. She doesn't really say anything. She's just like really neutral, which I respect because the girl is coming from she's a Romanian American. Her parents are from Romania, so they're immigrants. They're coming from political shit back in their country. They left the country because of the political aspect of what's going on, people being murdered and things like that. So they ain't gonna be talking about this. They're not gonna be speaking on it. They're just like, I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm gonna live my life, and we gonna be good. All right. I mean, she met this dude in, I don't even know how to say his name. Oh my god. What's her husband? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is that terrible? Maybe. She met this dude who's also a Romanian American, and you meet your people. It is what it is. He is quite a bit older than her, so I think that's kind of interesting. But he also went to Oregon, so there's that connection. Anywho, so let's get to Sabrina and how her time in the her transition was. And first of all, I'll say in the NCAA in college, she was the all-time leader in career triple-doubles. So girl was shooting. And triple-doubles, bro. Triple-doubles are hard to come by any league, no matter what league it is. In the WNBA, people are not having triple-doubles. Alyssa Thomas is, though. If you want to look up Connecticut Sun, Alyssa Thomas, Triple double queen. It's very hard to do, and she was doing it. So you got to give her flowers. Sabrina was balling in college. Um, oh God, I did I write his? Yeah, Haranis Grossu. That's her husband. I cannot. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. So she was amazing. Had a lot of media coverage. Sabrina is, she's an amazing college player. Then she goes into the WNBA in 2020. Unfortunately, that is the COVID year, so it was a weird time. She gets picked by the New York Liberty as the first overall pick, rightfully so. But she doesn't play that much, right? She doesn't play that much that year. She's not honestly that good that year. I think she got hurt. Her stats are just okay. Okay, they're just okay. She did. I'm trying to think, like the first season, just is an adjustment period. It's COVID. It's just weird. She didn't do that well. She gets injured. There's so much stuff going on. The next season in 2021, she does like hit some of her old accolades. She does hit a triple double. She she does have like a 30-point game. Like she's doing a little bit better. And same in 2022, has a 30-point game. Oh no, she had a 30-point game in 2022, and then 2021 she just had triple doubles. So she's kind of slowly getting back on her horse. Her points per game is going up. It's a little bit better. She's at New York, so that has to be noted. Like, New York was not a good team. They've been pretty much forgotten about. Like, they've had a lot of ownership changes. Just kind of a disregarded team, and her going there was like a hope that it would like level up the players, and it kind of did. They ended up kind of making this like super team, if you will. So they traded and brought on Courtney Vandersloot, who could help her as another guard to really figure things out, because like they just needed more veterans on the team. Then they bring in Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart is an amazing player, has won a lot of accolades, a lot of championships. And then Jonquel Jones, excuse me, also came over. So that did help. It did help level up the team, and the team being leveled up, she was able to be a better player. And I think that's really important. It's like, you can't just be, in the W, you can't just have one star player. It just doesn't work like that. It's a team sport. So her having this new super team around her really helped her level up her game, and she's gotten a lot better. So her transition was a lot shorter than Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum, I would say that her first 3 years were not good, and then the last 4 years have been really good. With Sabrina Ionescu, I would say her first year, 2 years were not good, and now the last 2 years have been pretty decent. And that's exciting. So the curve is a little bit shorter, but I also have to say she had some people around her to help. Did help that Steph Curry gave her flowers, invited her to the 3-point contest, because she did really well. So she is a great 3-point shooter. She is great from out on the zone, which is very similar to Caitlin Clark, a very good 3-point shooter. And she does really well in the WNBA All-Star games. But something to note about that is she got into the WNBA All-Star game mainly from votes from the public and from the media. If you look at the numbers for the votes from her fellow players, she doesn't get a lot of votes, because she doesn't really play defense that well, and a lot of people don't really respect or think that she's that great of a player, and that she needs a little bit more time before she's in a WNBA All-Star game. But nevertheless, she has a lot of fans. So people pumped her up, and she did do well in the All-Star game 3-point contest, beating out Allie Quigley, who is happenstance Courtney Vandersloot's wife. They used to play on the Chicago Sky together. Allie retired. She was like the number one 3-point shooter for a couple years. Then Sabrina came on the scene, and she beat her record, and so now it's like more fanfare for Sabrina, which is rightfully so. And then Steph Curry invited her to the WNBA All-Star weekend and had them go head-to-head. She did lose only by 1 shot, okay? It would have been tied. So, yeah, that's something to note. Other things to note about Sabrina, she has played in USA Basketball 3-on-3, and I do think that did help her grow her game a bit. She does not play overseas. So, I think there's a lot to be said about people who play overseas. You just learn how to be a better professional when you're playing against a lot of other professional people in the off season. But she chooses not to. She probably has a lot of brand deals and enough training that she feels competent enough to not go overseas. But I kind of think she should. So yeah, that is Sabrina Ionescu. I can go over her accolades as well. When she was in college, girl is Pac-12 Player of the Year 3 times, and they're consecutive. 2018 and 2020. Whoa, crazy. She won the John Wooden Award 2 times, back to back. The Nancy Lieberman Award 3 times, back to back. She got the James A. Sullivan Award, the Honda Sports Award, the Senior Class Award, the AP Player Award, the Naismith Player Award. She's on the NCAA all-time leader for career triple doubles. She is the only player in the NCAA to have 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 1,000 rebounds. So, girl, she's balling. She was balling in college. Okay, she was balling. But when she got to the W, nothing. Crickets until really nothing. Until the All-Star game. So in the All-Star game in 2022, so 2 years after she got into the league, she made it to the All-Star, but that's a voting situation. She got on from votes, okay? She wasn't like, according to her accolades, it was just from the voting. But she did win the Skills Challenge champion, so she was a 3-point shooter, right? And then, it was the skills. It wasn't 3 points. It was the Skills Challenge at the All-Star game. She did really well in that. She did make the All WNBA second team in 2022, and then in 2023, she was a part of the Commissioner's Cup, and she was a champion for that. But that's a team situation. She was the 3-point shootout champion at the All-Star game in 2023. She made it back to the All WNBA second team. And then again in 2023, she was voted by fans into the All-Star game. So in terms of accomplishments, she's done really well in personal skills-based things. And then has won Commissioner Cup championship, which is a team sport award. So she's, if you've heard anything that like the WNBA players are not that impressed with her, and that's why. She's a really good at offense. She's really good at the 3-point line. She's going to be great. Right now, she's just good. Okay, and over time, she will develop. She will grow. She has Brianna Stewart. She has Jonquel Jones. She has Courtney Vandersloot and a slew of other players around her. She's going to do amazing. But right now, she is not. She's just good, and she has a lot of fans. And so, again, very similar to Caitlin Clark, a lot of fanfare. Had a really rough transition to the WNBA, and I expect the same for Caitlin Clark, to be honest. I think that Caitlin Clark doesn't play defense, so that's going to be a huge issue. So she's going to be a passer. She's a fantastic passer. So they're probably going to rely on her a lot to pass. The team right now, I should actually bring this up. What is the team roster right now? So the team roster right now for the Indiana, she's going to go to the Indiana Fever, clearly. She has a lot of people around her that are going to make her great. So, Grace Berger, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Katie Lou Samuelson, Nalissa Smith, Erica Wheeler. There's like so many people on this team. Some of them are going to get cut, but so many people on this team at this moment who are going to really bring her up and help her. But she ain't going to be shooting logo threes. No, people aren't going to let her. The vets are not going to let her. She's going to have several welcome to the league moments, and it's going to be difficult, but I think that she knows that. I think Clark understands the nuances of the WNBA. She's been a fan for a really long time. She knows it's not going to be an easy road for her, and I think she welcomes that. It's just her fans don't. Her fans are a little ignorant in terms of like WNBA history, and don't care to educate themselves. So they're saying all these crazy things like she's going to dominate, blah, 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 and I'm like, no, she's not. She's going to do really well. She probably will do very well, but she's not going to dominate. The Indiana Fever is not a good team. They've gotten better with the addition of Aaliyah Boston. They've gotten better because of Nalissa Smith and Grace Berger, but they're not great. And they're going to have probably another losing season. But over time, they're going to be good. Over time. Will Clark come in and bring a lot of eyeballs? Absolutely. I'm actually happy for that. I want more eyeballs in the WNBA. But I also don't want her to outshine, the coverage of her outshine the real, actual good basketball that's happening overall, because there's going to be a lot better players than her in the league, and they should be getting their flowers. They should be getting the media coverage that they deserve. So we will see what happens. The media is run by old white men who just want dollar signs and don't really care about equity and equality. So we'll see what happens, but I hope that the WNBA takes advantage of this moment and helps the game grow and doesn't latch on to this whole Great White Hope storyline, plot line, content. You know, the way that things are being structured. I don't like that. I think we don't need to do the Great White Hope. Like, you can cover her normally like everybody else, but you don't have to cover her at the expense of not covering other people. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to everyone. I'm looking forward to not only Clark, but Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu. Plum is amazing. She is so good. I love seeing her play. I can't wait to see her in the Aces this summer. I'm looking forward to Sabrina getting better. She's going to get better and better and better, and I'm looking forward to that. Girl needs to learn to play more defense herself, but you know, she's getting good. And yeah, I look forward to Clark and her passing abilities, but and her 3-point shots, but she's not gonna be making logo threes. It ain't happening. She's gonna get fouled really hard, and she's gonna be not gonna be taking those shots. But we'll see. We'll see what Christy Sides just plans to do and how much of a focal point she will be. But anyway, that is my analysis. Like I said, if you enjoy this content, please go ahead and like it and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, later.